Good morning. Yeah, so how are you all doing? Are we making it? Are we making it? Like I know you are, right? Yes, it's been some very touchy topics this week, right? And we're going to continue on. Right. Because we love it, right? We have to get into these conversations because if we don't, it'll always be those things that we think about, but no one says, right? It's almost like we live in a society now and people are for real fearful of speaking their mind. And, what's that saying that always has been in the world? Knowledge is power, right? Like when we get to a place of not embracing how we truly feel and being able to stand for something and speak up for ourselves, that is when it gets very easy for us to fall for anything, to go along with anything, and to basically be controlled. And so, right? Like now you all see one of the reasons why I absolutely love the fact that we have to be authentic, right? It is just like, I don't know, for me, it's this challenge to always push ourselves further because we're living in a world that pretty much is trying to diminish that. Right. So yeah, these conversations, they actually matter. They really do. Don't be fearful of speaking up and don't be fearful of basically thinking for yourself. It is more than a skill. It is pretty much like powerful, right? And so for today, right? Um Hopefully it's going to be something that also makes you think because like I said before, I've been through a couple different things going on and as always I want to talk about it. So, I was in a situation the other day, and not really a situation, but by the time I realized it was something going on, it was just like kind of towards the end. And so, but I was in a situation the other day where I was pretty much like observing what was happening. And I have to tell you that I was absolutely fascinated with this. And I couldn't be more like proud of the situation that was happening for certain people and just like I don't know. I really want to like lift them up and hopefully, they felt the same. They felt like pat on the back or what have you for the situation and how they handle it. And so, I was in a situation the other day and apparently something went on. There was some type of altercation or some type of issue that occurred and it was amongst women. Like it was amongst these two women and I guess it was happening in public where other people could see that it was going on. But of course, me, I go about my business. I don't be caring about, extra stuff going on. I go and I take care of whatever I'm doing. And so by the time I realized, what was going on, because it was normal for me to hear people kind of going off or, having their own personal conversations and stuff. I mind my business. And so once I figured out, what was happening, that was an altercation with a person and that, the individual handled it so well that you didn't even know the altercation was involving them. And so that's why I was like, I was just so proud because first of all, I'm Black, I'm African American, and I'm a woman. And these are two of the things that don't really sit high on any type of level, right? And not only that, for us being in, the month of like Women's International Day and Women's History Month and stuff like that, where we're not really recognized, but now this is like the month to do that. I really want to lift right those women up. And not only that, but it was someone else that was around the situation as it was happening, and the fact that this person like went to this lady's aid like afterwards, and I shouldn't say aid like saving her, but pretty much just like encouraging her and letting her know like you good, like it's okay. I just want to lift both of them up because I'm like, You don't see that these days. Like, right? First of all, it is just normal in today's society, especially when you watching like reality TV and everything, for like women to be going against each other and just being catty and just all the time arguing or, trying to put each other down and stuff like that. And especially for me over the years, you all know I talked about it so much where it's just like, it's always like somebody is some you're looking this way, you're wearing this, you saying that, blah, too much attention, blah blah, and it's like always trying to come at each other. And so as I was in this situation, I'm hearing what's going on and how this lady is like just talking negatively about somebody, and I'm thinking she just on the phone, but she was talking about the person who was actually there. But the fact that the lady pretty much was just like, I'm ignoring that. Like I'm not going to give that any of my energy, any of my time, or what have you, and not trying to further escalate the situation, but letting it ride. And so as I'm sitting there and then the person leaves, now the other lady is just like, that was so horrible. Like, sitting there talking about that. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I didn't know, what have you. Like, I did not know that was what was going on. And so, then the person that it was about was actually saying it like, yeah, and they were doing this and that. And I was just like, oh my goodness, like, don't let that, steal your joy and stuff and break your spirit. Like, no, like all this type of stuff. Like, you don't need to do nothing else. Like, to me, in my mind, I'm like, you've handled this situation so well where other people didn't even know, like this person was coming at you. And it's so important, right? It made me think about the Bible and how it says, like, don't get involved in foolish arguments, all that quarreling and stuff. Like, God does not like that. Like, right? As much as we see it in reality TV and as much as we like may experience it or see it in real life, God is not for that. God is for peace. God is for righteousness. God is for like love and, harmony and stuff like that. And so when we see these different things going on in society where it's just like you getting quickly annoyed, or it's like a situation is handling and you going off like right away, or, somebody's coming at you. So it's like, okay, now we gonna come back at them. It's like, these are all things that God is not for that. Right? It's just something that we've developed in society to be like, oh, that's okay to do, or this person ain't about to talk to me like that, da, 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 type of thing. And it's crazy how that happens. And so while I was in it, I was just like, man, that is something powerful to see, in today's time. And not only that, but amongst women and then amongst Black women. Like, I'm like, I couldn't feel more proud, what have you, to be like somebody for real was able to turn the other cheek or look the other way, or for real overlook insults and stuff like that. For real, these are core principles that are like in the Bible when he's telling you that it's to one's honor to overlook an offense. Same thing with like not getting quickly annoyed and stuff like that. But for real, standing your ground and really representing what it means to be of God and like to have that type of spirit where it's just like, I hear that, I see that, but no, it's not about to dictate my day. It's not about to dictate how I feel or what I say or what I do, like that, right? And then you have this other person that's sitting there going like, oh my goodness, like that was so horrible. Like, I'm glad you didn't do this and do that. And having somebody there, you get what I'm saying? Having a support there to let you know, like, no, that's not okay. Like, right? That was not okay. But you handled that so well. Like, I don't know. For me, I couldn't have been more proud. And so I just want to lift them up. And even the other day, for myself, I was in a situation where I was like going into a parking spot because I was trying to get me some pizza real quick. Oh my goodness. Like, right? Trying to get me some pizza real quick. And I honestly did not know this person was trying to back into this spot. And so when I got out the car, of course, the person gonna be like, I was you saw me trying to go in there, like, what, type of thing. And it was getting ready to start off in that manner. But I was just like, no, I actually didn't. And typically you would see these situations go where it's like it's a back and forth, or it's a yelling, or it's a, all these types of things. And I was letting her know, like, no, I didn't, and I can go move if you want me to. Like, right? Like, if you want the spot, like, you can have it, because I honestly didn't see it. And it's just a parking spot, so I don't really care, what have you. But you get what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that, it just lets you know, like, We don't have to be like that. We don't have to do that back and forth. We don't have to lower ourselves to, other people's levels. We don't have to carry ourselves in a way where we feel like we, have to do this bickering and this lowering of other people just to feel okay with ourselves. Like, we don't have to do that, right? And of course, with my situation too, the person was okay with it. It wasn't anything bad that happened, but it's just a fact of how things could go. But when you carry yourself in a certain way and when you have certain morals and stuff like that, it's just so much better. Like, I couldn't have been more proud for real when I saw that. And so the scripture that I want to like bring up for the day to encourage others, because I'm not just talking about Black women, I'm talking about women in general and men, right? In society, we're just living in a different time where things could escalate very quickly, right? Depending on whatever the situation is and how people are feeling and all types of stuff. But God is for real telling us, like, quarreling, he's not for that, right? Like, and I'm gonna read you scripture of where I am. I'm in 2 Timothy 2, and I'm going to start off with 22. 2 Timothy 2:22. Flee the evil desires of youth and pursue righteousness, faith, faith, love, and peace, along with those who call on the Lord out of a pure heart. Ain't that like something? Like, doesn't it just touch you to be like, when you see people acting in those types of ways, then like, internally it's something good in there. Like, he's saying it's coming from a pure heart. Like, that's what's up. Don't have anything to do with foolish and stupid arguments, because they produce quarrels. And the Lord's servant must not be quarrelsome, but must be kind to everyone, able to teach and not resentful. Right? So I wanted to make sure I pointed that out, because I'm so proud of them. Like, that's so crazy. Right? Like, I don't even know them like that, but it's just a fact that, seriously, that's representation. So as a Black woman myself, and even if it was like little kids around and stuff like that who experienced that or saw that, it speaks volumes, right? On how to handle situations of conflict. It speaks volumes on how to carry yourself when you have things like that happening to you, whether you're in the wrong or not. It speaks volumes, right, about what's going on internally within your heart, and for real, like, what you follow and what you're about. And so I'm for real, like, you see me smiling, I'm just so proud of them, because I hate when we're in society and I see that negative type of stuff where it's just like, because of an insecurity or because of a whatever happened in the person's day, like, they feel like it's okay to just be bad mouthing people or talking negatively about them or trying to drag them and everything. I just feel like it's never a reason for that. Like, right? It's never a justifiable reason to be out here dragging people or to be going back and forth and just acting ugly and all types of stuff. Like, I hate that. And so when I see, like, first of all, other women and other Black women, like, carrying themselves in a manner of respect. That's what that is. Okay? Like, that's a manner of respect, respecting yourself, loving yourself enough to be like, I know who I am, and I don't care what this person is saying. I don't care what they're doing. Like, it's not about to change how I speak, how I think, how I'm going to be. It's not about to impact my day whatsoever. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's so like, right? It is just such a blessing and so refreshing to come across that. And so I'm encouraging it for the day. Again, I'm in 2 Timothy 2. I started at 22, but I'm going to say go all the way to 22 through 25, because it's just that beneficial. It's that helpful to keep on our minds and to for real meditate on. Like, in this world, we're meant to be at peace, and we're meant to have peace with one another. We're meant to be loving. We're meant to be, like, carrying that sense of righteousness and stuff like that, where we can't be out here acting like the world. Although we see it in reality television, we might see it around us, we might, experience it in our lives. That doesn't mean that we have to do that. right? And so for, this month, because we're coming to an end on it, and I hope it's something that we carry over all throughout the year, but I have to focus on it for the month because I'm just so proud. Like, right? I'm just so proud. And you all just don't know, after all the years of like negativity and stuff that I've experienced, and especially from women, and not just, black women, just women in general, like I've experienced it from men too, but oh my gosh, like, and women too. It's just like to see stuff like that is a for real blessing to know, like, it's still people out here that got love for themselves, respect for themselves. And to me, that only comes from knowing who God is, right? And having him in you, right? So, yeah, I really want to lift them up because that takes a lot of courage to do that. It's easier for people to go off at the mouth and to for real go back and forth with people. It's more challenging for you to hear things and see things and experience stuff and have enough self-control to be like, I ain't giving that my energy. Like, I'm not giving that my time. I'm protecting my spirit. It's actually harder to do that. So I lift them up, right? And for the person who was able to stand up and like say something, even encouraging the person, it's just like that part too. Right? Where sometimes in this world, we make it seem like it's the biggest and baddest person in the room, or it's the loudest person in the room. It's the one that's flaunting all this and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, no. Like, right? How many times they say that? Normally the loudest person in the room is the weakest. Like, so that part too, it's like, oh my goodness, I'm so proud. And I hope that it's something that we seriously reflect on and that we think more about as we're going about our days and we're out here carrying ourselves a certain way in whatever setting we're in. Know that it's nothing a person can say. It's nothing that a person can do. It's nothing that can make you change who you are as a person and dictate how your day is gonna go. Stay in control of yourself, right? That's one of the fruits of the spirit, being in, self-control over our mouths, over our energy, over our actions, over all of that, right? And not only that, but still being peaceful, still, being loving and all that, even when stuff happening to us is not that. Like, right? It speaks volumes, and it's a whole different type of strength and power, right? In that. So as women, I'm saying that, like, putting that out there, and even for men as well, like, I'm putting that out there. Like, sometimes I'm telling you, this world got all these different ways of saying, oh, this is so powerful and this is what's the best, and it's like, nah, it be that stuff that people putting on the side and saying like, oh, I don't see them, I don't hear them, and all that. It's like, it's a quiet confidence. Like, right? It's a quiet confidence. It's a for real courage behind that, and a way that people carry themselves where it's like, normally when you got authority, when you have power, when you got strength and stuff like that, you don't need to flaunt it. You don't need to be out there parading it. You don't need to be out there letting it be known. It's going to be known in how you carry yourself. It's going to show up and have a presence whether people want it to or not. Like, right? You're going to feel it whether you want to or not. That part. Right? So for the day, I'm going to leave you all with that. Again, 2 Timothy 2, I believe I started at 22. And yeah, I hope it's something that makes you all think. I hope it's something that is a good conversation to have with one another, and definitely something to think about as we move forward out of March. And yeah, so proud of them. So yeah, hopefully it was something that, was a nugget of knowledge for the day or something to chew on. And yeah, I shall talk to you all next time. Bye.